Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel and welcome to everyone who is just now visiting. I am Screen Scene Guru coming at you with some new media news, update on television and film. So really cool news coming down the line. We've got some awesome trailers I will discuss and all kinds of good stuff. So let's get into it. Starting off, I've got my notes. A bit of notes jotted down for getting into the third week of July already. So July is just passing by. A lot of interesting films still set to come out, especially in August as well. But getting into this, we've got early reviews for The Odyssey are now out, with large audiences raving that it's fantastic. Of course, we're hearing that this is one of the first Christopher Nolan horror films, which is very interesting to hear. Can't wait to dive into that to see what that's all about. We've got a preview for a new trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day coming out very soon. We've already seen clips on the internet with what looks to be Hulk fighting Spider-Man with some kind of electric gauntlet. Might be Shocker, one of the Shocker's fists, which is really cool to see in the new trailer, of course. So going over that, we've got Avatar Aang. We've got The Last Airbender trailer dropped on the internet. This is, of course, the first week of July, guys. This is back on July the 8th. It's facing many controversies because the entire film was, of course, leaked online. It's now coming out on Paramount Plus on July 25th, so just in a few days, next week sometime. Instead of its original theatrical release, planned for later in October, it's going to be streaming. So that is going on, and I'm sure a lot of people are very much looking forward to that film. It's been like 20-something years since the animation stopped for Avatar, Last Airbender, and they did novels, continuation stories after. And they've even got the live-action Netflix series, which is on season 2, Earth, which is really cool. I haven't started it yet, but Siren Head film and 2 more urban legends have been announced due to the good success of Backrooms, which I've seen. We've got the Mandela Catalog, which is a YouTuber by the name of Alex Kisser. Basic premise is it follows a small town where things called alternates, basically people's doppelgangers, replace people. Steven Spielberg is attached to this Mandela Catalog. So that's kind of an interesting title, but they've really run out of a lot of ideas, original stories. Then we've got, let's see, VHS is coming out with a new film, which is really cool. I'm not a big fan of the VHS franchise, per se, but it does look like they're going to get a full movie production budget for this next film. Page real quick. I'll just cover a couple of pages real fast. Going on from there, we've got there's a movie company, I guess, called let's see, Short Horror. So PVC, I think. It's an online short horror company. You can check out and read different stories. So it's really cool. It's going to be revising some of these short horror forms in the next VHS film. On July 9th, they were supposed to get a new trailer for Spider-Man 4. And then, of course, Star Wars news. We got Star Wars Starfighter getting some leaks. Ryan Gosling, of course, is possibly playing Cade. Legends, and Cade was the great grandson of Luke Skywalker. So that's really cool. More Galaxy comic book characters are coming, supposedly, finally announced by Lucasfilm. The system of Ardania will have a Jedi Academy, where I guess a child in the movie Starfighter is trying to get to this Jedi Academy. We don't know if Rey is attached or anything Rey related is going to be happening. But the fact that there's a whole new Jedi Academy, there's a whole section of the galaxy that wasn't affected by essentially the Empire and other things, I think is kind of interesting. We're hearing that supposedly Amy Adams' character is also a Jedi, supposedly. There's a lot of Jedi stuff going on. Aaron Pierre has been announced as a Jedi, and he will fight Mia Goth in Star Wars Starfighter, so that's really cool as well. Big shout out to Aaron Pierre. Can't wait for Lanterns this August, guys. Looking forward to it very much. I got my Green Lantern ring, so I am hyped for it. We've got on August 14th, we're supposed to be getting a trailer for Star Wars Starfighter, so hopefully that is true. AI companies are buying up all the data chips required for big tech nationwide and globally, so there's no really cap on these AI data farms. You've seen them going up everywhere pretty much, and these AI startup companies, they really do a lot bad for the environment and for overall, so people are really upset about those. I just wanted to bring that up in a bit of my news and topics. We got Dr. Simon Hine. He points that there is a fifth state of matter, a shadow biome we exist alongside of, so that's really cool. Wanted to bring that up as part of my UAP psi phenomenon research. I will be bringing that up more often in my YouTube page, just with the current disclosures happening. We've got the Air Force is aware of ball lightning collapses inward, and it creates equinopposite force, or equinopposite. So basically, it's the strength of 10 grenades, they're saying, is this ball lightning when it collapses in on itself, creating an implosion. So it's very interesting. They've been studying it. The USSR has been studying it. Many people tell stories of them being affected when these orbs fly through them. They can actually be internally burned. So that's very concerning, especially for the average person trying to capture the phenomenon or document it out in the open. Now the government's coming out and saying you can be affected by this. Barks paper replaces swamp gas with dusty plasma. So yeah, there's been a paper recently outed by the Disclosure Foundation, and they basically are trying to say it's not the Collins report, but they're replacing swamp gas with dusty plasma as something that is cited a lot in these documents. So moving on, we've got university that did the research in Colorado is the same place that Condon report came from. So a lot of people were upset that Colorado is the government's to release these documents, but now they have a scientific panel, so that's really cool. A scientific council that reports directly to the White House. So there's some weight there, 6-7. But the fact they use the same University of Colorado is concerning. I just wanted to bring that up. And Greenberg was in Boulder. So Hakimbo Greenberg, the last place he was cited before he went missing, supposedly when he was doing his psi research back in the 80s, was also in Colorado. So I'm just going to put that out there. Pavel has also been covering this. If you guys watch Pavel on YouTube, shout out to him down in Mexico. Um, paranormal research could enter people's dreams, they say, but he would give them nightmares. And apparently, after he prayed, the experience wasn't so bad. So that's very concerning about the phenomenon as well. We do know these stories about people doing astral projection. This phenomenon has become, I think, more popular with pop culture media as well. Big fan of this stuff in my movies and television, but I do believe this stuff does happen. So that is interesting. We've got some scientists have separated into two divinations. So I guess they're separating it into. Let me bring this up real quick. Scientists have separated divination, enchantment. So they have acknowledged that enchantment is a thing. Theurgy, which is reciting the same verse over and over, which is a lot like what the Catholic Church has. So that would be theurgy. The first one, divination, is things like remote viewing, leeching, tarot, and then they say enchantment is sigil magic, which is very real. It has real world effects, intent, psychic potential to get an outcome. The Catholic Church prayer is theurgy, and magic world creating sigil. So essentially, putting your intent, your thoughts into things has real measurable effect. We are currently building our own reality based on our thoughts, and science kind of has proven that in the last couple of years. So that's really cool. They are officially coming out with that. Go on from here. Infusing it with a goal, apparitions that may or may not be seen. So this is another thing that psychics can do. You know, they can make people see things. They can give people psychic messages where other people do not receive them. So I just want to bring that up. And then it can help track, navigate, defy gravity even. So that's really cool. So we've got a couple of trailers came out recently. We've got Digger, I wanted to bring up real quick. Can't really pronounce the name of the director, but he did Birdman and The Revenant. Love those films. Looking forward to his next project with Tom Cruise. So that's really cool. Digger trailer is out. You guys can check it out. It was quite goofy, quite odd, but I'm loving it. As well as Soulmate. We got the unofficial sequel to Megan, dropping. It looks like it's going to be on digital 8/3, so August 3rd. So that's cool. Dune Part 3 got a trailer as well that dropped. Looking very good, very cinematic. I believe this was the CinemaCon trailer. So awesome that they dropped it now in July. Spider-Man art book, first look at the new movie, has already dropped online. You can pre-order the art book, I believe. Usually these things come out after the movies come out, but sometimes they release them right before or during. I remember when the first Avengers movie came out, they released an art book literally like the same week. So, Free Willy remake happening at Disney, so that's really cool. Godzilla Minus Zero is supposed to have a nice trailer at Comic-Con, I'm guessing. There was only a 30-second clip released to the public. So we're guessing that they're waiting till Comic-Con to release more footage. Then we've got Jimmy Tedrow, a YouTuber, will voice Gorilla Grodd in the Jimmy Olsen series. You guys might remember him. Jimmy Tedrow, he played the boyfriend at the very beginning of Scream 7. For everyone that's watched that film, he gets killed in iconic Stu's house. Then we've got Mobland Season 2 drops, first look. which is pretty awesome. AI actress Tilly Norwood will be in a film called Misaligned, which is kind of an interesting title for an AI actress. But of course, this is causing more controversy in Hollywood, getting people upset about real women not getting enough work when they're being replaced by AI, and these studios choosing to hire these fake AI bots. So let's see. The critics have seen The Odyssey and they loved it. I want to talk about that real quick. We're getting some of the best work of Christopher Nolan in his career, some are saying. The whole film was entirely shot on IMAX. White House releases new footage on UAPs and unexplained objects. This is like the third or I believe fourth tranche of unexplainable phenomena released. And now they've got people like Dr. Stephen Greer and Avi Loeb talking on News Nation, which is good. They're talking about clandestine projects being ran for decades, these reverse engineered programs going on. They've yet to reveal any biologics or any real hard evidence. And apparently Avi Loeb's Science Council, that's what that's for, to report back on this stuff to the White House. We'll see if they get anything done. So let's see. So I did want to mention real quick, Star Trek's anniversary on September 8th is going to officially turn, I believe, 61 years old. Have to look into that, but September 8th, mark the date down. We've also got perhaps we're being prepared for something. The beings need for us a purpose. So that's a big concern also. Some kind of strange thing we're being perhaps groomed for, like a farm. Luis Elizondo on Vetted YouTube page, he talked to the Japanese about urgent large monoliths on the moon. And I'll just stop right there, guys. I don't want to go into too much notes. I'm getting right to the 18-minute mark. But I want to make sure to remind everyone to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tell your friends, tell all your cohorts on the interwebs about Screen Scene Guru. But yeah, really interesting stuff about monoliths on the moon. They are confirming this after Apollo astronauts did flybys and recorded this. He talked about right angle cuts and how some of them had hieroglyphs on them on the lunar surface. So yeah, really cool stuff. Photographs from NASA archives, long kept secret from the public. May be released soon. We've also got Carl Wolf. Apparently, Memento Mori. He said that heads in space is a common thing in the scientific government agents. I guess they've got some kind of interesting code they use for like heads in space. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to refer to, but I'm guessing that means they've got machines or personnel, perhaps, heads in space, that are looking down or operating at a very advanced level. I'm guessing if it's not astronauts we're referring to, it's others, unknowns. So that's very interesting. Let's go on from there. About right at 19 minutes. I don't want to make these videos too long, guys. I'm trying to stick to my short form content. But I'll do one more page for you real quick. I'm trying to catch you up. So this is 7/11, July 11th. Did the government try to get at some point, did the government try to get at Lou? This question was asked because he had that bike accident and all this stuff. NSA was apparently printing out these NASA photographs. They called them mosaics. and they discovered a base on the dark side of the moon. They talk about how the mosaics showed that it had geometric shapes. There were towers, spherical buildings. So that's really cool. Huge towers that look like something like a radar dish. Very interesting in the way the structure designed. The images, 35 millimeters, then assembled into 18 by 1.5 by 11 inch mosaics were called. Some buildings had reflective surfaces on them, so that was very interesting. Some looked to be like cooling towers, and then as well as some were rounded with a cunette hut or dome-like on top, like a greenhouse. So all kinds of structures being seen on the moon and on Mars, supposedly. So once we get out there in 2028, supposedly with, what do they call it? I'm trying to remember. I don't even know what the hell they called the last rocket that went up. Gonna have to look that one up real quick. Was it? It wasn't Blue Origin. Let's see. Last rocket. Looking this up right now. SpaceX launched a Starship. Okay, so the most recent rocket to go up was SpaceX Falcon 9 mission, lifting off Cape Canaveral, Florida, which launched a batch of 29 Starlink satellites, low Earth orbit 510 ETA or ETD on July 13th, 2026. So that was the last rocket launched. Let's see what the last astronaut group was. Artemis, I think it was? Yeah, when was Artemis? They're on Artemis 3 now. Okay, so I remembered it, guys. Artemis 3, 2028. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Dark side of the moon, there's a base there. Now they're discussing. Very interesting as well. Probably from some kind of colony that maybe tried to live on the surface of the moon, and maybe they realized it was a little bit too harsh of an environment. So yeah, we've got these buildings, dome-shaped greenhouses, basically everything you'd need to live out in space, colonize the moon. Several clustered together over a landscape, a fairly large landscape. Now the idea we don't already have operational equipment on the moon with people, that we are going back in 2028. A lot of people are speculative whether or not that's true or not. Like I've always kind of believed, like For All Mankind, the TV show, I think that we continued but in secret. We had a lot more laboratories in space, a lot more genetic research being done, stuff that people were kept in the dark about. So remote viewers looked at the moon. Some kind of mining operation was going on. They were moving materials around. So that's a big concern. A general from China was talking about helium-3 mining on the moon. So that's a big power source, very powerful power source, helium-3. Not just helium like in balloons. This is like explosive helium. So more like that astrophage from Project Hail Mary. Think about that. Totally different way of fuel source. Whoever controls this fuel source would be a dominant superpower in the next coming 100 years. So we obviously would want that. Evil Dead Burn is getting rave reviews, plus 2 post-credit scenes. So I'm guessing they're building up to Evil Dead Wrath, coming out in 2028 as well. Then we've got Naruto live action film being done by director Dustin Daniel Cretton, who's doing the new Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to this, even though they've talked crap about how can they do a Naruto movie for years? I trust Dustin to do it. He did Shang-Chi. That was very well done. Talks in Hollywood. Oh, John Campea talks to Hollywood Insider on why Avengers Doomsday has problems. Now, supposedly, he's come forward since then and said this was a whole lot to do about nothing. He's asked other people about what's the problem with Doomsday, and they said they're not hearing anything about a problem. So he's since recounted his statements, guys. But I still wouldn't be too surprised if we hear some problems behind the scenes of Doomsday. We've got the Marvel panel for July 25th at San Diego Comic-Con. So coming up in just a few days. They're going to talk about, of course, Avengers Doomsday. I believe the next slate of shows coming out. I'm not exactly sure what all their shows are. I'm a few behind, so I do need to get caught up. But Prime has set up a Carrie panel. They're going to be talking about the new Carrie TV series, which is looking very good. They've also got Batman Caped Crusader, Reacher. They've got a slate of shows to talk about. Prime at San Diego Comic-Con. Several countries got involved in strategic strikes in Iran over the last week. It's not just Iran launching missiles and drones towards Israel now. It's also other Middle Eastern countries getting involved in the fight. So that's, something to be concerned about and be aware of. They are reporting on it in the news, just not a lot. And for people that live in the area, of course, they are familiar with what's going on. We've got Wagner Moura is set to play an X-Men villain in the upcoming film. They're teasing he may play Minister Sinister, perhaps. We're not sure. This is kind of tying into some of the other rumors I wanted to play up for the video real quick. We do have a bit of speculation going on for X-Men rumors. We've got, let me go on to my next page. Now closer to the 30-minute mark, but I'll cut it off at 30. We've got Patrick Wilson in talks to play Professor X, or possibly Dylan, or I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård, I believe, which I thought was very interesting. Bill Skarsgård, he might be a little bit more preoccupied with some of the IT projects, and he's a little young to play Professor X, where I thought, Lewis Pullman, or not Lewis Pullman, what is it, I'm trying to remember his name now, something Wilson, Jack Wilson, or no, not Jack Wilson, trying to remember his name. Hold on, let me pull up his Jack Wade. No, not him. Might be a little bit further in here. Anyway, trying to go back. Bill Pullman, or not Bill Pullman. Not Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson's gonna be in Doomsday, but let me pull up just Insidious. Okay, Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson would be a good Professor X. Real quick, I do want to show off my Magneto helmet. Oh! And I am speculating whether or not Adam Driver will actually play Magneto or not. I'm not sure. Guys, what do you think? Leave down in the comments below. Do you think he would play a better Magneto or a better Mr. Sinister? I think that might be the case if we're led to believe the rumors. I can't wait for this new X-Men project, being done, of course, by the Thunderbolts director. We'll have to see, but until next time, guys, be sure to like and subscribe to the video. Until next time, chill out and check out my another video. Bye bye.